Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 2020
roundtable breakout session. Tonight we're going to go over several resources made available by Scouting America that are provided to enable adult leaders ensure that they are running the program as it's meant to be run. Support leaders in enabling their scouts to be successful, keeping everyone safe, and ensuring adult leaders have access to the tools, resources, and knowledge to be able to find answers to questions, know what to do, and even to develop themselves further as leaders. The first resource we're going to discuss is the Guide to Advancement. The Guide to Advancement is the official rulebook outlining the policies and procedures for earning ranks and other awards in Scouting America programs. It's an essential document for adult leaders to administer the advancement program, understand policies, and help scouts progress. It ensures advancement requirements and processes are applied uniformly across all units. If you visit the Guide to Advancement section of the Scouting America website, you'll see this page. It gives you an overview of the guide along with definition of terms. And if you go down to the bottom of the page, it has an online version listed in all of these sections here. For our purposes tonight, I'm going to go over the paper version, which is available on this download link. However, I would like to point out that the paper version is only updated every so often, whereas this online section is updated regularly. So if you want the most up-to-date version, which is what we should all be using, it's best to consult the online version. However, paper version is always nice to have for reference at your meetings and, even out at your campouts and things like that. So this is the PDF of the Guide to Advancement. This is what you would see if you were to purchase it from the Scout Shop online or in the Scout stores. This guide is for all unit adults, members of the district and council advancement teams, and even parents, and sometimes it's even useful for Scouts themselves. This guide outlines the roles and responsibilities for the advancement teams at the council, district, and unit levels. It explains topics such as how to conduct a Scoutmaster Conference and Board of Review, and what to do when disagreements arise. It answers questions like who can sign off on advancement requirements, and what is the definition of being active in the troop in regards to counting towards rank advancement. It defines things such as what counts for nights spent camping, and outlines when things like camping nights or service hours can or cannot be counted for multiple requirements. For example, counting something towards both rank advancement and merit badge requirements. It answers the question of if a merit badge can be rescinded once it's given, and what can be done when it's suspected or known that a scout did not actually complete the merit badge requirements after it's already been signed off. The guide thoroughly outlines the steps for the Eagle Scout rank, the Eagle Scout Service Project, and the Eagle Board of Review. It explains the entire merit badge process and explains what units and councils are allowed to do, and just as importantly, what they are not allowed to do regarding advancement. The guide provides exceptions, alternatives, and special conditions that can be applied to support Scouts in certain extenuating circumstances, including time extensions for eligible Scouts and accommodations or modifications for Scouts with special needs. So why should you read this guide? Simply put, we can't rely on the old saying of, well, this is just how we've always done it. We owe it to our Scouts to not only run the program the official way, but to have the knowledge and resources to provide the support they need. Basically, you don't know what you don't know until you take the time to learn. You can find this guide available in Scout shops in person or in the online Scout shop, again with the most up-to-date version being digitally on scouting.org. Generally, it's updated every 1 to 2 years for major updates, every year for smaller updates, including merit badge updates, and minor updates can occur at any time. The next resource that I'd like to discuss is the Guide to Safe Scouting. And you'll see this abbreviated sometimes as GTSS or G2SS or even just GSS. It's all Guide to Safe Scouting. Again, there is an online version at Scouting America, the scouting.org website, just as with the Guide to Advancement. And as with the Guide to Advancement, the online version is always going to be the most up-to-date. But they do sell this in the Scout stores and the Scouting shop website. This is something that is definitely good to have a paper copy, because you don't want to be guessing when you have questions about something and maybe you can't access the online version. I also find with both the Guide to Safe Scouting and with the Guide to Advancement, the paper versions, in my opinion, are somewhat easier to navigate. I didn't bring it up with the first guide, but you'll see here with the Guide to Safe Scouting, they have all of these menus and subsections listed here on the left. Going back to the Guide to Advancement, you'll see kind of the same thing here. And it's easy to miss things when they have all of this, because you aren't automatically guided to click on each of these things, but there's important information there. Even outside of the menu links on the left, looking at the online version, again, more menu links on the left, and just links upon links upon links here for the online version, which is nice if you're looking for one specific topic. Say you want to go and review safety guidelines regarding horsemanship. But again, it's easy to miss something. And even within these links, there's further links. For example, the SAFE checklist, which we'll discuss a little bit, references a even further website. So I do recommend having paper versions of these things. But in general, the Guide to Safe Scouting is the cornerstone resource from Scouting America for adult leaders, providing policies, procedures, and guidance to ensure the safety and well-being of youth members during scouting activities. How does this guide help you? Well, it covers in detail the rules, policies, and procedures that are in place to keep all of us safe, both in general, regarding our commitment to safety, our code of conduct, and also in specific ways, such as aquatic safety, camping safety, medical and first aid, etc. It answers questions regarding things like what is the annual health and medical record, and how do you use it? It has a substantial list of safety moments, which are 1-minute safety reviews on a large number of topics for use in your units. It includes the SAFE checklist, which I've lost it here. This is one example of SAFE service project planning checklist. They have other versions, SAFE project tool use checklist, SAFE transportation checklist. These are guides to allow you to review whatever you have coming up and ensure that it helps you to uncover or discover potential safety concerns that aren't going to be necessarily directly addressed in other areas of the guide. This also, of course, includes arguably the most important safety aspect, which is youth protection and adult leadership regarding scouting's barrier to abuse, and what we now call the safeguarding youth training, or what was previously called youth protection training. So all of that is also included as part of the Guide to Safe Scouting as well. And within those, of course, you'll learn not only what our rules and policies are, but also the important information of what to do when a violation occurs, when a safety incident occurs, how you report these things. That's all included in the Guide to Safe Scouting. And this is not the sort of thing that you want to be scrambling to find out after the fact. So this is good to have and review ahead of time by pretty much every adult in your unit. So overall, why should you use the Guide to Safe Scouting? Why don't we just go out and just do what we want? Well, because keeping scouts safe is our highest responsibility. These are our children and our children's friends, and they're our friends' children. They've been entrusted to our care. In the larger picture, when people violate these rules and violate the safety of our scouts and the trust of our communities, the entire organization suffers the consequences. And we've seen that hugely in the last few years with the lawsuits and closures of camps and all of those sorts of things, and tightening of what we are allowed to do. I should mention, I didn't bring it up previously, but there is a section in here that specifically addresses directly addresses specific activities that are not allowed, such as most people know that we are not allowed to do things like laser tag. We are not allowed to do at the unit level the big plastic ball that you get inside of and roll down a hill. So there is a list of those sorts of activities in here as well. And it is a fairly short list, thankfully. So there's plenty of opportunity for fun activities you can do with your units. So the third guide that I'd like to cover tonight is the Troop Leader Resource Hub. If you have been around for a while, you may have heard of Troop Leader Resources, the website. That about a year ago or so got completely revamped from a separate website and brought under the umbrella of scouting.org website and remade into this entire resource hub. The hub is an online collection of guides, advice, scripts, outlines, and more for adult leaders. It is a veritable encyclopedia of information covering topics of general information, troop planning, program features, which is Scouting America's name for pre-made, ready-to-use meeting and activity plans, ceremonies, advancement skills, and activities, games, and challenges. So who is it for? This resource is available for any adult leader in the troop, and it can also be useful to your PLC or potentially even specifically an SPL or a junior assistant scoutmaster, maybe an MC that you've put in charge of Court of Honor ceremonies, other people like that. So how does it help? The Troop Leader Resource Hub is Scouting 101 for leaders. Whether you're new to the troop or you're an experienced leader looking to change or improve something in your unit, this hub will tell you just about everything you need to know about troops and give you inspiration for new things to try out. Perhaps two of the most useful sections of the troop are the troop planning section and the troop features sections. The troop planning section gets into detail on how to conduct both annual planning and monthly planning meetings. Provides helpful resources like agenda templates, and it has both blank and fillable troop meeting planning forms. The troop program features section is an online version of what you may have heard in print known as the Guide to Program Features for Troops and Crews. The printed version is available in Scout shops and online at the online Scout shop, specifically just this portion of the Troop Leader Resource Hub. It provides 48 themed modules covering a variety of interest areas, giving troops pre-made step-by-step plans. You pick a topic from the list, And the program features will give you several meetings worth of activities that lead up to a weekend outing or other concluding event. For example, if you wanted to do something in STEM and you go to the engineering, over here on the left, you'll see meeting plans and ideas. And so it gives you all of this of exactly what to do step by step in your meetings. And of course, all of these links take you to even more guides and resources. And all of this leads up then to a main event. So in the case of engineering, and I honestly just picked this one at random, you can pick from 3 levels of the main event depending on, kind of levels of difficulty, to put it simply. So go to an amusement park and you make observations on engineering principles. The more challenging version, leading a discussion on how the park might incorporate scouts' suggestions or improvements, and an advanced version where scouts are actually conducting experiments on various rides. And they have sample outlines for all of these events as well. So this is a great resource for units that maybe you're stuck in a rut, you've been doing the same thing over and over, year after year, and you need some new ideas. Also great for PLCs that are struggling with creating plans. Maybe you are getting back into doing troop planning, or maybe you have younger scouts that don't have that institutional experience being passed down to them. So this is a great resource for all of those. You can get this, of course, as we've seen, online, and in this, the hub itself is available online, and then there are print versions of these program features, as well as the Troop Leader Guidebook, which is referenced in certain places throughout the hub. And our last guide tonight that we'll discuss is, this is the program features, just real quick to backtrack. These are the print versions. There are 3 volumes available to purchase. So they're broken up into, they take the 48 and they break it up into 3 volumes evenly. The last thing that we'll discuss is the Troop Leader Guidebook. In print, these are available at the Scout store or online Scout shop, and printed in 2 versions. There unfortunately is not an online resource for these, which I think is a huge detriment that they will hopefully change. But what is this Troop Leader Guidebook? If the Troop Leader Resources Hub is Scouting 101 for troop functions, then the Troop Leader Guidebook is Scouting 101 for being an adult leader. It's targeted specifically at Scoutmasters, but the information is good for, of course, your assistant Scoutmasters who are going to be stepping into your place if you're not there, or maybe one day stepping into that role permanently. And I'd argue that it's good for all adult leaders as well, because it's just good knowledge. It's helpful for those who are new to scouting, troop scouting, because this guide covers basics like how a troop is structured, what everyone's role is, uniforming, how awards and recognition work, service projects, and more. And for your experienced Scoutmasters, it provides valuable tips and insights on how to lead your troop effectively, how to support your scouts in achieving their vision for the troop, help on developing your scouts into those leaders that they need to be. It provides advice on long-term planning and on effective troop management, and it kind of digs into the rewards of creating a well-run scout-led troop. So why should you use this, and why don't you just, go do what the last Scoutmaster did, or just do what you think how it should be? Well, it's not that you can't do that, but being a scout leader, Scoutmaster, it's challenging and it can even be hard. So when you're the Scoutmaster, usually everyone's going to be looking to you to lead the way, but you don't have to do it alone, and you certainly don't have to reinvent the wheel. The Troop Leader Guidebook contains advice and lessons learned from a long line of Scoutmasters who have come before you, who are passing their information on to you to help you succeed. So where do you get this? Again, it's printed as 2 volumes online or in stores. It is not available as a free PDF, unfortunately. So that's the final guide. This has, of course, only been a quick summary of the resources. They all go much deeper into their subject matter. Hopefully you'll find something new or helpful when you review these. If you haven't seen these before, they're definitely worth taking the time to go over. If you've already seen these, then it's still good to refresh yourself every so often, especially after they've been updated, particularly in regards to the Guide to Safe Scouting and Guide to Advancement. Finally, when you are looking these things up online, you can go ahead and Google it. That's fine. Google will often give you the link to the scouting.org section, but it will also give you third-party websites like troop websites or other scout sites, unofficial scout sites that are hosting some of these things. And while there is sometimes value in those older guides, you need to be careful because they have been updated, and so with changes in safety and changes in policy, it's important that you are reviewing the most up-to-date versions. So thank you very much for being here tonight. I apologize that this ran a little bit long, and I look forward to seeing you all next month.